And live from the Gray Eagle in Asheville, the Pearl of Carolina, it's the Travis Book Happy Hour. Tonight, a tribute to the great Tony Rice. And now, your host, Travis Book.
Thank you all so much. Welcome to the Great Eagle. This is the Travis Book Happy Hour. Tonight, we pay tribute to Tony Rice, an American icon, guitarist, singer, band leader, an essential basic ingredient in the musical stew that is bluegrass and related acoustic music. Tony left this plane on Christmas morning of 2020, but it had already been 26 years since muscle tension dysphonia stopped him singing for people. And his 2013 performance at the IBMA Awards may have been the last time he played guitar on stage. Tony's influence on music is immeasurable, his reverberations manifesting in overt and subtle ways in nearly every acoustic musician performing today. If you play acoustic music and you weren't deeply moved and influenced by Tony's singing, song selection, guitar playing, or sense of rhythm and timing, then one of your major influences certainly was. We don't have time for a full history or complete retrospective, but I did want to explore Tony from my perspective and put in context the music of his that meant the most to me. I've employed the skills of three of the finest musicians I know and three individuals who know and love this music in much the same way I do. John Stickley and I have played some of this music together for almost 20 years. Lyndsay Pruett is a veteran of the happy hour and a musician of the highest order. And Shawn Lane, bluegrass royalty from the legendary band Blue Highway, knew Tony, performed with him, and like John and Lyndsay and myself, is a direct descendant of the Tony Rice musical lineage. I'm honored that these three agreed to take on this project with me. So, without further ado, the music of Tony Rice.
One, two, three. Don't fall in love with me, darling, I'm a rambler. Although you're the sweetest sweetheart in this world, it's all for your sake, dear, that I'm leaving. Don't give your heart to a rambler, little girl. Well, I handed you a line and I'm sorry. You're just a little sweeter than the rest. Please believe me when I say I don't want to hurt you or do anything to mar your happiness. So don't fall in love with me, darling, I'm a rambler. Although you're the sweetest sweetheart in this world, it's all for your sake, dear, that I'm leaving. Don't give your heart to a rambler, little girl. If I've ever had the blues, my little darling, or the lure of the roll on my mind, well, I long to hear the whistle of the freight train and the boxcars as we rattle down the line. So don't fall in love with me, darling, I'm a rambler. Although you're the sweetest sweetheart in this world, it's all for your sake, dear, that I'm leaving. Don't give your heart to a rambler, little girl. Don't fall in love with me, darling, I'm a rambler. Although you're the sweetest sweetheart in this world, it's all for your sake, dear, that I'm leaving. Don't give your heart to a rambler, little girl. Don't give your heart to a rambler, little girl.
So Tony grew up in California. He started playing with his brothers Larry and Ronnie. And after moving back to North Carolina in 1965, he met Sam Bush and the Bluegrass Alliance at Carlton Haney's Festival in Reedsville, North Carolina. He was in the Alliance for a year, and then he joined J.D. Crow's band, The New South. He was in that band for 4 years, recording the landmark album, The New South, just months after Ricky Skaggs and Jerry Douglas joined the band. This occurrence was akin to Bill Monroe hiring Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. Crow's impeccable banjo timing, Rice's lead singing and rhythm guitar, and the vocal trio of Skaggs, Crow, and Rice is a style and aesthetic that's still copied today. Much of what you hear echoing through the halls of the hotel at IBMA or coming from a campground at a festival in North Carolina is reaching for this iconic feel and sound. Now, after 4 years with Crow, Tony returned to California to join the burgeoning David Grisman Quintet. Now, while DGQ was rehearsing and recording and generally getting it together to absolutely blow a giant hole in the bluegrass and acoustic music scene, Tony recorded his iconic self-titled album. It wasn't his first solo release, but it was sort of his coming out party. And the song Shawn just played, Don't Fall in Love with Me, Darlin', is one of my favorite tracks from that record, and it's probably among his best early vocal performances. In 1976, I'm getting there. In 1976, Tony's in California. DGQ is rehearsing. And legend has it that at rehearsal, Dog was like, hey, Tony, you got any tunes that we could work up? And Tony indicates that he like the story is he says, I can't write tunes. And of course, Dog kind of calls bullshit and says, he tells Tony that he absolutely could. That's the quote. And the next day, Tony showed up at rehearsal with this song called Swing 51.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's my understanding that Grisman has said dog music was waiting for Tony Rice's guitar rhythm. That the music existed, the sound and the idea were there, but only when Tony left the New South and moved west to play with Dog did that style really crystallize. It was a fusion of jazz and bluegrass, Django and Monroe, and Tony's guitar voicings and rhythm was the foundation. Here again, the second example of Tony and his guitar being an essential ingredient at the genesis of a distinct style of acoustic music that's still widely appreciated. So in 1979, Tony released 2 albums as the Tony Rice Unit, Manzanita and Acoustics. Manzanita showed us all that you can have bluegrass without banjo. And this album remains a high watermark for an acoustic ensemble. Acoustics is Tony expressing his own version of new acoustic or dog music. This first song, Old Train, kicks off Manzanita. The second one we're going to play is a song titled Old Gray Coat that I learned from Chris Eldridge and Chris Pandolfi, whose birthday it is, by the way. Happy birthday, Panda. We would play this tune when I was living in my blue 1992 Ford Explorer in their driveway in Nashville as we were getting the string dusters off the ground. The Exploder, that's right. Broke Mountain Tour Vehicle Extraordinaire. So, we'll play you those 2 tunes. No pressure. 1, 2. Old train, I can hear you whistle blow. Won't be jumping on again. Old train, I've been everywhere you go, and I know what lies around each bend. Old train, each time you pass, you're older than the last, and it seems that I'm too old for running. I hear rusty wheels grating against the rail. They cry with every mile, and I think I'll stay a while. Old train, I grow weary at the miles. I miss freedom that was mine. Old train, just to think about those times, smiling, you're highballing by. Old train, each time you pass, you're older than the last, and it seems that I'm too old for running. I hear your rusty wheels grating against the rail. They cry with every mile, and I think I'll stay a while. Well done, Stickley. I'm gonna deviate from the script right now just to say that I'm so appreciative of you all for being here and all of you at home for tuning in and being part of this. This music means so much to us, and it makes me and I think all of us so happy to get to play it. So thank you so much for being here. So from 78 to 82, Tony's doing this really amazing thing where he's working on 2 opposite styles of acoustic music and acoustic guitar simultaneously. He's pushing boundaries with his own jazz-influenced acoustic music, releasing Acoustics, Mar West, Still Inside, and Backwaters, which are all sort of a similarly themed group of records with the Tony Rice Unit. And simultaneously, he was releasing these uber-traditional records like Skaggs and Rice and the Bluegrass Album Band, Volume 1 and 2. The Bluegrass Album Band is this nice little super band of J.D. Crowe, Doyle Lawson, Tony Rice, Todd Phillips, Bobby Hicks, and starting with Volume 3, Jerry Douglas. It's an extension of, that band was a real extension of that New South sound that we all still copy and that I was talking about earlier. So Skaggs and Rice is the record that you're pointed to when you want to learn how to sing baritone in a bluegrass ensemble. It really is. Like, people will tell you that you go listen to this record, you sing the third part. The record is legendary. It's simple, beautiful, with crystal clear singing and enunciation in the style of the Monroe Brothers. So Shawn and I are going to do one of my favorites. It's called Where the Soul of Man Never Dies. Do you mind if I borrow your guitar?
I'm gonna even cape of it for you.
Where the soul... Oh, we were supposed to do another tune there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we thought you.
I'm really sorry. We'll come back to
Do
it.
this and we'll do it later. Yeah.
Okay. I got ahead of myself right there. That's my bad.
You said you were gonna deviate.
I mean, I put a lot of work into this, and now I can't even follow my own script. You want to kick it?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
In Canaan's land, I'm on my way where the soul of man never died. The darkest night will turn to day when the soul of man never died. If that farewell, no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never died. The roses blooming there for me where the soul of man never died. And I will spend eternity where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewell, there'll be no tear-dimmed eyes, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. The love light beams across the foam where the soul of man never died. It shines and lights the way to home, and the soul of man never dies. No sad, there'll be no sad farewell, no tear-dimmed night, where all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. No sad farewell, no tear-dimmed night, where all is joy and love, and the soul of man never dies. Listen to acoustic music for a minute. Okay. Now we'll play the song that we were supposed to play before that one. This is that tune, Old Gray Coat.
And if you're wondering how I learned it, I have the tab book. You should check it out if you want to learn this album. It's very helpful. A lot of squirrely chords in this stuff.
Well, I had it designed so that we would play that, and then we would play that song that we played before, and then we would play this next tune. You know, I had the juxtaposition set up just right, but then I jumped ahead on the set list. And now we get to play 2 jazz tunes in a row. That's good. Perfect. Yeah, so we will. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play this really amazing tune. Yeah. I guess no. This is what we're gonna do. When we come back, we're gonna take a short break for our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll get to it. We're gonna play songs from this era. We're gonna talk with Lyndsay, John, and Shawn. But first, I want to remind you that we count on your support. We don't do it without you. So you can contribute anytime at Venmo, Travis Book, or at paypal.me/TravisBook1. But first, a commercial break from our sponsors.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is brought to you by Americana Vibes, presenting the new album Common Ground by the Sweet Lilies and Trance Banjo by Chris Pandolfi, available everywhere your music is found. This episode of the Happy Hour is brought to you in part by Area 22 Guitars in beautiful Brevard, North Carolina. Area 22 carries the finest in American-made acoustic instruments and boutique tube amplifiers. Visit in person in the Brevard Lumberyard District or online at area22guitars.com. If you're enjoying the happy hour, tip the band and the crew anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo at Travis Book. And once again, your host, Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you all for tuning in. Tony recorded a career's worth of original instrumental music during this era, and the pinnacle for me is on the Mar West Still Inside compilation called Devlin. Tony is truly at his most unique and at the top of his game with regard to composition and execution in this phase. And one of my favorites is called Neon Tetra, originally from Mar West. That's a lot. I'm hot. It's hot in here. So I love Tony's voice. I understand that he wasn't too fond of it, but it was simple and honest and pure, and I loved it. This song we're gonna do next is a song called Model Church, and I think this song is a beautiful reflection on how a place of worship can be an expression of God and a place to feel God's grace at its best. So we'll do our best. A song called Model Church. Wait a second.
Did I? Oh.
I think it's F sharp.
I knew something sounded off.
I'm sure it works in F too. Well, wife, I found a model church and worship there today. It made me think of the good old times before my hair was gray. The meeting house was finer built than they were years ago. But I found out when I went in, it was not built for show. The sexton did not set me down way back by the door. He knew that I was old and dead and saw that I was poor. He must have been a Christian man. He led me boldly through the long aisle of that crowded church to find a pleasant view. I wish you'd heard the singing choir. It had the old time ring. The preacher said with trumpet voice, let all the people sing. Oh, coronation was the tune. The music upward roar. I thought I'd heard the angel choir strike on their harps of gold. But I'll tell you why it did me good to sing those songs once more. I felt just like some wrecked Marine who gets a glimpse of shore. It made me want to lay aside this weather-beaten foe and anchor in that blessed port forever from the storm. Dear wife, the toil will soon be o'er. Our race is nearly run. The shining strand is just ahead. Our race is nearly run. We're nearing Canaan's happy shore. Our hopes are bright and fair. Thank God we'll never sin again. There'll be no sorrow there. There'll be no sorrow there. In heaven above, where all is love, there'll be no sorrow That was fun. So in 1983, Tony released Church Street Blues. This album is just Tony and his guitar, and it is indescribable. Every song a masterpiece. Just go listen. Stickley's going to play us a song from that album, but first I wanted to ask you, Stickley, do you remember your early impressions of Tony's music?
Yeah, I really do. It was on the original David Grisman Quintet record, and at the time I was learning mandolin, and I was really struck by David Grisman's mandolin playing, everything about it. But then after multiple listens and letting it sink in a little while, I kind of realized that the guitar was kind of making it all sound the way that it did.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that's the guitar is sort of the underappreciated element of acoustic and bluegrass music, the rhythm guitar, I think. Yeah, I don't have to tell you.
No, I mean, and doing this show, you realize more and more, you're like, wow, like just to play perfect rhythm guitar with a little bit of cross-picking in it behind a vocal, to do it solo, like on Church Street Blues, I mean, it's one of the most amazing things to hear someone truly do that, you know. Trying to mimic it is really tough.
It's really tough. We're going to listen to you do it anyway.
Okay.
A couple more questions. What characteristics of Tony's guitar playing do you think are the most underappreciated?
Ooh, tuning, maybe?
Ooh, good answer!
There's something about tuning the guitar where you can't really just use a tuner. You have to, like Tony would get a reference note from a A440 tuning fork, get that one note, and then depending on what key he's in, where the capo is, and completely tune to that exactly perfect note in a way where it's tempered like a piano and the chords ring. And if it really matters what key you're in, because if you temper it to a D chord, the F and your G will sound good, but then you go play a bunch of open A, E chords, it won't sound as good. So it really matters what key you're in, what chords are in the song. You know, it's the most amazing fine tuning ever.
That is such a good answer. I'm really glad I asked. Yeah, John Stickley, everyone. I mean, really. And finally, John, what's your favorite guitar solo of Tony's?
Oh my gosh, wow. Probably Whispers of the North. That was my answer for a long time.
That was your answer for years.
It's just got all my favorite licks. And
it does. It's got that soar, and it soars when it
does
hits the
everything.
second half. Yeah, it's
yeah.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
Whispers
so
of the North.
I'm going to go ahead and stick with that for
Okay,
now.
good answer. Well, hey, will you go ahead and play us a song off of Church Street Blues?
I will try.
There is no try, buddy. This gig only happens once, buddy. You got this. Hey, everybody, that's John Stickley on the guitar.
Thank you. Riding in planes and hailing cabs, I've been on the road so long, looking for the sunshine every day that I've been missing so long. 2 blocks over and 1 street across and uptown round and down. Well, there must be something just a hiding out somewhere, someplace I ain't found. Annie, orphan Annie, are your Nashville nights still warm? Somewhere near the west of town is a coming up a storm. Are your rivers dark and muddy where the green swamp willows grow? 9 more days and I'll be home, Lord, backing off the road. Picking and grinning and playing the game, listen to what I say. Lord, I wish I was down in Asheville town, about 5th and Broadway, where the Cumberland rolls, a soft breeze blows, and woman ain't far away. Well, here I sit in New York City, just a-hanging out every day. Annie, orphan Annie, are your Nashville nights still warm? Somewhere near the west of town is a-coming up a storm. Are your rivers dark and muddy where the green swamp willows grow? 9 more days and I'll be home, Lord, backing off the road. somewhere near the west of town is a coming up a storm. Our river's dark and muddy where the green swamp willows grow. 9 more days and I'll be home, Lord, backing off the road. 9 more days and I'll be home, Lord, backing off the road.
My man, John Stickley. All right, so in 1983, Bluegrass Album Band releases Volume 2, furthering this statement of bluegrass truth as they see it. And this establishes these songs, styles, feels, and even arrangements on these tunes for local bands and bluegrass jams. This is how we're generally trying to sound, and by we, I mean like bluegrass pickers, when we jam, wherever we are, whether it's like a hotel or a festival. The String Dusters are releasing a tribute to Bill Monroe on Americana Vibes, May 28th. And our version of Sitting Alone in the Moonlight is more akin to the album band's recording than it is to Monroe's. And that's a testament to how sort of lasting that style is. We'll play a song from that in a moment. But first, a little about my man Shawn Lane here. If we're all the bluegrass sons and daughters of Tony, Bela, Sam, and Jerry, growing up on the music they made in the 80s and 90s, then Shawn Lane and his Blue Highway bandmates are like our older brothers. Shawn's played with Tony. Blue Highway was touring, recording, and playing festivals in the late 90s alongside these legends. And their music and aesthetic was creating its own watershed moment for neo-traditional music. That's Blue Highway I'm talking about. There's a Blue Highway sound and style. It had an undeniable influence on the String Dusters. Tim Stafford, the guitar player, he produced our first record, Fork in the Road. And my generation of bluegrass musicians are all well acquainted with the songs and the sound of Blue Highway. Shawn, what is it about Tony's music that resonates with you?
My favorite thing about him is his ability to pick songs. Yes. Like he picked the perfect songs for him. It sounded like he wrote all of them, yes. or that they were written specifically for him. I just couldn't believe, once he did a song and once you heard him put his production on a song and his stuff on a song, it was done the best it could possibly be. You couldn't touch it anymore.
Right.
And that's like, you could hear his personality and his soul through these songs, and he didn't write them, but it sounds like he did, every one of them.
Yeah, it's clear he didn't just play any old song that came along.
No, he chose material like nobody else, I think.
He really did. What are your favorite ensembles or songs or albums, or what is your favorite Rice?
My favorite record is Native American, and probably that ensemble, well, anything with Jerry Douglas. Like when he and Jerry Douglas are together, they make each other play like they keep going up. They keep going up. They step up. This one steps up till they're in the stratosphere, and they stay there. Yeah. And they just lean out over the edge together, and they sound like they're going to lose it, but they never lose it. And that's just, it's magic to me when them two get together. It's just like a meant-to-be thing. You can feel it every note that the two of them play together on any record.
That's so cool, man. You shared the stage with Tony. You've heard him told a lot of stories about him. We've told some stories even since we've been hanging out. What is the most lasting impression, like the idea or lesson or quote that cuts the deepest from Tony?
Somebody, I was playing a unit show with him in North Carolina somewhere, and backstage somebody tried to offer him a tuner, like one of these little D'Addario tuners to clip on your peg head, you know, and
yeah.
And he says, "Oh no, I use a fork."
That's exactly what.
But he said, "But I have no contempt for the device." And to that same show, I got to say this: he pulled up in his convertible Mustang, and literally, the guy was bringing us on stage, like, the Tony Rice Unit, and he was, like, opening his trunk and getting his guitar out of the trunk. And we were already standing up there, and we wondered, how long was it going to take him to get up here, because the crowd already died down and crickets were going, you know, and he finally got up there, and his guitar was tuned down to where you could pull the strings like this high, and he had to go down, there, 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 there. Every string was tuned down
While the audience waited.
while they waited and while we sweated. But once he starts the music, all that stuff's out the window. He's the greatest in the world. He made the best records in the world, I think.
I totally agree. That's why he's my desert island artist. Thanks, Shawn. That's awesome. We're going to take another short break in a minute, but first we're going to play this song, Bluegrass Album band, called Please Search Your Heart. I used to play this with Stickley back in our band called the Broke Mountain Bluegrass Band.
Yep.
Best band ever. We'll do this one for you.
Search your heart, and maybe you'll find a reason to stay. I'm begging this time. I know I was wrong, and darling, I've paid. Please search your heart before it's too late. When you left me, I said that I'd never be blue, that I wouldn't cry if you found someone new. But this is my plea, give me one more try. Please search your heart, don't tell me goodbye. When you left me, I said that I'd never be blue, that I wouldn't cry if you found someone new. This is my plea, give me one more try. Please search your heart, don't tell me goodbye. Please search your heart, don't tell me goodbye.
Yeah, we'll be back after more. We'll be back with more music after a short break with our partners. Blah 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 blah. So Thompson Guitars and Candade. So don't forget to show your support for the show tonight by contributing via Venmo, Travis Book, PayPal.me/TravisBook1. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is supported by Thompson Guitars, makers of fine instruments, handmade with love in Sisters, Oregon. The crew at Thompson Guitars carries on Preston's legacy with handcrafted guitars, enjoyed by some of the finest players on the scene. More at pktguitars.com. The Happy Hour is proud to work with Canned Aid, a nationally recognized nonprofit that rallies volunteers from all walks of life to build thriving communities. Through their unique integrated approach, they distribute water, provide opportunities for underserved youth to experience music, arts, and the outdoors, and protect and restore the environment. You can view this and every Happy Hour episode anytime at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. And the Happy Hour returns on April 27th with special guest Jeremy Garrett. And now, back to the show.
Thank you, Bill. So with Cold on the Shoulder in 1984, Tony enters a musical phase where he's incorporating everything. His full aesthetic range, bluegrass to jazz, and complex and compelling songs by songwriters. This is what Shawn was talking about. Songwriters like Gordon Lightfoot, Randy Newman, Rodney Crowell, Jerry Reed, John Mayall, Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Phil Ochs, and Bob Dylan. This is something he's legendary for, adapting great songs to a bluegrass neo-acoustic sound. He makes two other albums that make up a trilogy, Me and My Guitar and Native American, in '86 and '88. And I credit these three albums as sort of seminal for Alison Krauss in the creation of the unique and extremely compelling sound she's cultivated with Union Station. It's a combination of like slamming deep groove grass with these smooth grass songwriter songs, attention to detail, clear singing and harmony, huge dynamic range. I mean, it's like this is where Akis got her thing, was right out of these three records. So, on with the first song and title track from this era, Cold on the Shoulder.
Time to make it mend. Give it a try, don't put it to the test, and I'll give it right back to you. It's cold on the shoulder, and you know that we get a little older every day. We'll take it around, take it to town, try to define what you feel inside. You better be strong, your love belongs to us. It's cold on the shoulder, and you know that we get a little older every day. All we need is trust, all we need is trust, trust, trust to make it show. I don't want to know everything you've done. If you get a tip, then tell it to the Eskimos. It's cold on the shoulder, and you know that we get a little older every day. All we need is faith, faith, faith to make it nice. Give it a try, don't be rude. If you're gonna make a mistake, won't you make it twice? It's cold on the shoulder, and you know that we get a little older every day. All we need is time, all we need is time, time, time to make it man. Give it a try, don't be rude, put it to the test and I'll give it right back to you. It's cold on the shoulder and you know that we get a little older every day. It's cold on the shoulder and you know that we get a little older every day.
Yeah, John. I want to thank Lyndsay for joining us tonight. Lyndsay, you grew up in a right.
Thanks for having me.
This is your third time on the show.
Yes.
You were here first with Mimi Naja.
That's right.
You were her suggestion, and then with Kyle Tuttle.
Yes.
You were also his suggestion. You're now part of the Happy Hour musical family.
Oh, so good to be here.
That's right, and Stickley got you this gig.
Stick gets me a lot of gigs.
He does. That's kind of how it works. For those of you who don't know, Lyndsay is in the John Stickley trio. So you grew up in a musical family listening to Tony Rice. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, my dad is a musician and mandolin guitar player, and he was very much obsessed with the style of Grisman and Tony. I think I went to my first David Grisman concert when I was 9 weeks old.
Awesome.
So it's very much in my veins.
Yeah, Tony always had a fiddle in the band, right? He
Yes.
he had Vassar, Richard Green, Bobby Hicks, Darrell Anger, Fred Carpenter. He obviously liked characteristic or quirky fiddle playing. You know?
Yes.
Because those are characteristic, stylized players, right? You're so well studied. You sort of slide between a lot of these styles so effortlessly, and you're also a characteristic and quirky fiddle player yourself.
I take that as a compliment.
You
Thanks.
should, and I mean that totally as a compliment. How did your early exposure to Tony's Fiddlers shape you musically?
Well, I would say
Not just through his music, but just in general.
Right, yeah.
That sort of troupe of bizarre fiddle players.
I think I think that Tony definitely recognized, the fiddle is such an expressive instrument, and he's such a raw musical soul that I think it seems to me that he really appreciated when fiddle players had that very original sound, like the very original type of playing. And I think Darrell Anger was really big for me growing up. Even though Vassar was around my house a bit when I was a teenager, because my dad would play in his band, he'd come down to Jacksonville, Florida, I didn't really get Vassar's playing, even though he's really the king of incredible, squirrely, amazing original playing, that nobody else will ever sound like him and never has. But I didn't get, I was very much a classical, I was way more, bound to like sort of a Stuart Duncan early on more than a Vassar, but growing up, it's like it kind of grows on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
And it gets really in there, and it's almost like it takes a while to appreciate how incredibly genius Vassar was in particular.
Yeah, and that I think that's typical. It can be pretty far out, especially if you're not really familiar with that aesthetic and that style of fiddle or violin. It's hard to tell with Vassar, right?
Yeah, but Tony definitely loved it.
Yeah, that's so cool. What's your favorite stuff? What's your favorite like song or solo or tune or record?
Hot Dog is a real big one for me. David Grisman Quintet, and actually Daryl Langer's solo on Neon Tetra. That's like probably one of my favorite fiddle solos ever.
That's awesome. I'm glad we chose that tune then.
Yeah.
How convenient. When we were putting this together, you and Stickley suggested that we do this next tune, Port Tobacco, which is perfect because it's kind of a jazz tune with like a fiddle tune form. That's sort of like A-B sort of thing. So we'll play that one for you now. You guys want to join us again? Thanks again, Lyndsay.
Thank you,
for your
Trav.
insight. What happened to Stickley?
He's in the house.
It's okay. Take your time, Stickley. You can wash your hands first.
Just getting the guitar out of the case.
No. Before we came on stage tonight, I occasionally get to play with a guy named Keller Williams, and so I taught these guys. The other week I was playing with Keller down in Florida, and we do this thing before the set. We put our hands in, and he goes, low pressure, no pressure. And I think Stickley took that real literally and went to the bar. All right, so we'll do this tune, Port Tobacco. I love this tune. Well done, y'all. You did it. We're all so proud of you.
Shawn, that solo sounded like Sam Bush and Vassar had a baby.
Yeah, I don't know if I should have tried that or not. But it was worth a
best.
shot. I think that's for the fiddle only.
Stickley looked over at me during your solo and he goes, I think he said Vassar, but I thought he said master. And I was like, yeah, that guy is a master. So in 1987, Tony recorded with legendary guitarist Norman Blake. The first of 2 albums by Blake and Rice. Both are beautiful and a flat picker's dream, with 2 unique singing styles juxtaposed against distinctly different guitar tones. This is the time to make mention of Tony's affection and adaptive gift for Gordon Lightfoot. Tony Sings Gordon Lightfoot is a compilation of the 17 Gordon Lightfoot songs Tony recorded during his career. It encompasses most of the ensembles and aesthetics, and the songs are stunning. This spans his entire career. If you want to know Tony, start there. I asked Shawn if he would sing the song I'm Not Saying from the first Blake and Rice record.
I'm not saying that I love you. I'm not saying that I'll care if you love me. I'm not saying that I'll care. I'm not saying I'll be there when you need me. I can't give my heart to you or promise that I'll speak your name up to the sky. I can't lay the promise down. I'll always be around when you need me. Now I may not be alone each time you see me, along the street or in a small cafe, but still I won't deny you or mistreat you. Baby, if you let me have my way, I'm not saying I'll be sorry for all the things that I might say that make you cry. I'm not saying that I'll do the things you want me to. I'm not saying I'll be true, but I'll try. Not be alone each time you see me. I show up when I promised that I would, but still I won't deny you or mistreat you. Baby, if you love me like you should, I'm not saying I'll be sorry for all the things that I might say that make you cry. I'm not saying that I'll do the things you want me to. I'm not saying I'll be true, but I'll try. I'm not saying that I'll do the things you want me to. I'm not saying I'll be true, but I'll try.
Thank you, Shawn. Thanks, Stickley. So before we play Night Flyer from Native American, the last of the trilogy of songwriter albums, I want to make mention of one other crucial piece Tony Rice played in acoustic music. And that was his participation in recording sessions for Bela Fleck's album Drive, released in '88, and Tales from the Acoustic Planet, Volume 2, released in 1999. It's my understanding that Bela's album Drive was literally built around Tony's rhythm guitar style. For those of you who don't know, these 2 records are vanguards for new acoustic instrumental music. Whitewater isn't Whitewater without Tony, and the first 4 tracks on Tales, you can hear the band riding Tony's rhythm guitar to the bluegrass glory land. Blue Mountain Hop, Buffalo Nickel, When Joy Kills Sorrow, and Spanish Point all carry that signature guitar feel. And those recordings are highly influential for my generation, and those are all dependent on Tony Rice and his rhythm styling. Like dog music, Bela's Newgrass needed Tony Rice. But I digress. Now, back to Night Flyer from Native American. laying awake in the darkness. Your voice is sound in my ear. Lord, I just put the phone down. How do you expect me to sleep with you so far from here? Calling the desk for a taxi. Night is so black with the rain. All of my friends are still sleeping. They will never know I was ready to be gone again. I'm the night flyer, I'm waiting. Somebody to catch me a plane. Airports at night always empty, and I'm smoked too much sitting here. I'm coming home to you, darling, out of the darkness till day. Though you may tell me I'm crazy, how do you expect me to sleep with you so far away? Darling, somebody to catch me a plane. Airports at night always empty. I smoke too much sitting here. I'm coming home to you, darling, out of the darkness till day. Though you may tell me I'm crazy, how do you expect me to sleep with you so far away? Words are hard. All right, we're getting close here. In the early 90s, the Gasoline Brothers, as David Grisman and Tony were called, were playing out at Dog's place, possibly working on what would become Tone Poems, and Dog invited Jerry Garcia over to hang out and play music. Somehow, the recording session got out. I guess they were sitting in front of microphones. Legend has it that a pizza delivery guy saw the tape, and he swiped it. And once Dog realized that an unmixed recording of Dog music was out there, he went ahead, mixed and mastered, and released it in 2000. It's a beautiful session, especially for Deadheads, with Jerry picking songs and singing and Dog and Tony accompanying him. It's a super laid-back session, and one of the highlights is Jerry's version of Shady Grove. Later, Tony would team with Peter Rowan and recorded instrumental Shady Grove on their album Quartet, but we'll do a hybrid version of the Pizza Tapes and Tony Rice version. It's a tune called Shady Grove. apples in the fall. If I can't have the girl I love, I won't have none at all. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I know. Shady Grove, my little love, bound for Shady Grove. I had me a guitar string made of golden twine. Never known I'd pick on it, I'd wish that girl was mine. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss, I'm going back to Harlan. Here to fiddle and dance, some come here to tarry, some come here to fiddle and dance, I come here to marry. Shady Grove, my little miss, Shady Grove, I say, Shady Grove, my little miss, bound to go away. When I go home, wife, I try to please her. More I try, the worse she gets. Damn if I don't leave her. For Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say, Shady Grove, my little love, bound to go away. Well, Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I know. Shady Grove, my little love, bound for Shady Grove. Shady Grove, my little miss, Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss, I'm going back to Harlan. Yeah, Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little miss, bound to go away. Yeah, Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I know. Shady Grove, my little love, bound for Shady Grove. And this my friends, is where tonight's story ends. Tony continued to record a project called Tone Poems with David Grisman in '94, with Hillman and Peterson, a final Tony Rice unit record in 2000, with Rowan in '04 and '07, and with John Hartford and Vassar Clemens in 2011. At some point, he also recorded his last lead vocal late night after a session with pianist John Carroll. It's a cover of Pony by Tom Waits. And it's particularly striking in its mention of a Manzanita cross and the chorus, "I hope my pony knows the way home." Tony being known for his black Ford Mustang that he would park as close to the stage as possible. It's a really chilling recording, and I hope you seek it out. I hope you check it out. So, Tony would continue to perform on and off through the early aughts, even performing an incredible show with the unit at the First Festi Experience in 2010. He accepted his induction at the 2013 IBMA Awards, induction into the Bluegrass Hall of Fame, I think, and played his last public performance that night as the Manzanita Band with Sam Bush, Jerry Douglas, Ricky Skaggs, Todd Phillips, and Wyatt Rice. I watched the video, and Wyatt performs the iconic guitar intro to Old Train while Tony kind of fiddles with his capo, eventually joining in about the time that Sam arrives at the chorus. Tony just plays rhythm. You can hear that distinctive rhythm. He kind of turns away from the band. After Wyatt finishes the song, playing the guitar melody again, Tony looks up, gaunt, clearly not well, but he seems really happy. His friends and bandmates congratulate him. He turns and he smiles and he walks off stage. Tony got off the train, leaving Christmas morning on 2020. Some say you die twice. Once when you stop breathing, and again later on when your name is spoken for the last time. If that's the case, then I think our man Tony Rice has achieved immortality. We'll take one last short break for our sponsors, and we will return with one final song in tribute to the master himself. Shall we noodle? Well put. Well done.
The Travis Book Happy Hour airs live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in live on Facebook or watch previous episodes anytime at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. T-shirts sporting the Happy Hour motto, "It's okay to be happy," available now at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. The Travis Book Happy Hour is written and produced by Travis Book. Sound engineer is Andy Eubanks. Video produced by John Zara and I Am AVL. The voice you're hearing belongs to Bill Cavillas. The guests, house band, host, crew, and rent are all paid through the generous support of viewers and listeners like you. Contribute through paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo at Travis Book. And the Happy Hour welcomes Sierra Hall on May 5th. Now, back to the show.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Huge thanks to John Stickley, Lyndsay Pruett, and Shawn Lane. We appreciate your support. We've got a lot of great guests lined up for the rest of the season. The podcast will launch in the next month or so. That'll be all the old episodes compressed into podcast form. And our shirts with the motto, "It's okay to be happy," are shipping now. You can find them at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. You can also support us. We need your support. You can donate anytime. Venmo Travis Book, paypal.me/TravisBook1. We are so grateful for Tony Rice and for his musical legacy, and we will leave you with perhaps his most quintessential tune, a song called Manzanita. Thank you so much. We hope you all have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Never forget Tony Rice. Yeah, that's it.